What's good? What they do? It's your boy Purple Lips back with another controversial topic, y'all. Now today, welcome to my channel and all praises to the Most High. We're gonna be reacting to your boy Andrew Wilson uh destroy this woman on Pierce Morgan show because basically the woman on the panel has said real men shouldn't have expectations from a woman, and if he does have expectations, he not a real man. She doesn't consider him a real man. Now, how many of us have heard that before? Leave a comment if you ever heard a woman say that before. And leave a comment if you actually agree with this logic. And leave a comment if you don't agree with this logic and why you don't agree with it. And if you do agree with this logic, why do you agree with that as well? I'm curious at what people think about this because I have heard this like women say this before, this logic, but it's sad that this is what it come to, what she said.
I'm 27, 24, and I think I've got the up to respect women to not behave in a misogynist way, and to behave in a pretty decent way generally. But I'm also aware that they've grown up in an era when the likes of Andrew Tate and others have become increasingly dominant in the way that a lot of impressionable young men start to think and view women. And
Andrew Tate can say that it's positive about getting fit and being successful and confident and so on. There's indisputably a hardcore streak of misogyny that runs through his veins, which I think has been quite damaging to young men. So I'm not all in either way here, but I can certainly see the arguments. Where do you sit?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that this so I watched the show and it just goes through a typical feminine view, right? So all of these things are always through the prism of the feminine. So young boys, they don't do well in school. They don't do well in school because it's all programmed for the feminine. Stay still, fold your hands, right? Be quiet. Boys are rambunctious. They like to beat each other up. They like to be mischievous. They like to break things. They like to do that kind of stuff. There's no outlet for them to do that stuff. Their teachers are all women, right? There's basically all masculinity is now considered toxic. Basically all of it. The same women who are getting their double shot of espresso on the way over to the school they're about to teach at. They're 24 years old. Sometimes they're banging their own students, right? Hilariously enough. And then these people go out to Parliament. The same women will go to Parliament. They vote to send men off to war to stab each other in the face with bayonets. And you're concerned about toxic masculinity. It cracks me up. It's like the brutal savagery of men is a necessary precondition for society to exist. And we just kind of pretend like it's not. And this show should actually be an indictment on the feminine rather than the masculine, because basically masculinity is just punished everywhere, all the time, nonstop. It's no wonder guys like.
Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree that the basically masculinity is under attack in America? Like, do y'all feel like we are being censored and thrown to jails and to the laws and to the systems in different ways, that we are basically under attack by women and the system? Which is, it's just a common question. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. Whether it's right or wrong, it does matter. Now we got to figure out the right or wrong behind that.
Like Andrew Tate gets so famous in these spaces. I mean, what's the alternative? The alternative is everything must be feminine, tone policing, nonsense like this. It's ridiculous.
All right, James Barr, you were laughing, but I don't think you'd enjoy
crazy.
what you're hearing.
No, I mean I don't think you've seen the show. Episode 2 is shot entirely in a school. I didn't see one of the female teachers drinking a double shot of espresso at all. None of the teachers were flirting with students. There were male teachers as well. I don't think you're describing the show here. I think you're describing your own insecurities or agenda.
Yeah, so this doesn't continue.
What does that have to do with anything? He took that so literal of what he was saying. That had very little. He was bringing an example of majorities. Like, he was bringing an example. It wasn't even talking about for real that there's male teachers. Of course, there's male teachers inside the school systems, but it doesn't defeat the fact that the system is built for women. Women are supposed to listen. They're listeners. The school system is built for them to thrive, and it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Just in their nature to listen. and fold your hands, and it doesn't matter, bro. He wasn't talking about that.
Contend with the argument. Like, do you understand that I'm making an argument, an indictment of society itself,
Right.
based around my ideas that I'm seeing from this show? That's what I'm actually doing. So if you could contend with the fact that male savagery is necessary for the security of a nation, and that women will indeed vote in the future in parliaments to send men off to war to stab each other in the face at 18 years old with bayonets, perhaps you can contend with that before we start, getting into, well, tone policing is actually good and toxic masculinity is actually bad. It's like, I think there needs to be a little bit more toxic masculinity, or what you consider to be toxic masculinity.
Well, great, good for you.
Nothing.
I'm glad you think so.
Nothing.
No,
You
I
got
mean, I
nothing?
just don't need to
Nothing.
argue with that because
You just
that's-
unlocked. You just unlocked. You got nothing.
You're making up.
You
an
do
agenda
seem
that
unusually
I've not said
muted by that,
I've not
James.
said anything. I haven't literally said nothing about
James,
toxic
you were literally
masculinity
rendered
at
silent,
all,
like you
because
had
there
no
is-
way of
because
responding.
I'll tell you what, you can't argue with a completely illogical argument that has, like, I've not
It's
made
not-
any of the
It's a
comments
logical argument. You may not agree with it.
I've not made any of the
making a perfectly
comments.
logical argument.
that you are firing at me. None of those comments are things I've said or believe in.
All right, I want to bring Tommy in because Tommy, you've got a very interesting perspective. I think you've talked about something different. You call it the pussification of men, which is a great phrase. I'd love you to just explain what you mean by that. But also, you're not a fan of Andrew Tate or the influence he has, so that makes you a
This lady right here was basically the meat and potatoes of why I watched this video. Because I heard the comments that she said. Let's fire into it.
an interesting commentator in this area. So just explain first of all the pussification of men.
All right, Piers. Well, I think, and I can't see you all, so forgive me if I'm incorrect here, but I think I'm the only female on this panel,
Correct.
so I'm really anxious to weigh in. Okay, so I think over the last probably 10 years, there has been what I call the pussification of men. It was everything should be about your emotions and your feelings, and men were emasculated, and this whole concept of toxic masculinity warped the minds of a lot of young men, and they felt masculine, they wanted to be masculine, but society was telling them they should be softer, that it was being toxically masculine if you wanted to play sports and chop wood and go to war. And so men were so emasculated and so beat down that then there was this revolution of what was actually toxic masculinity, the Tate brothers and others, which I feel as a female that doesn't represent true masculinity. That to me represents douchebaggery. And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. I see that as being actually masculine. That's like the man that I grew up with, my dad. But what we're seeing.
I agree. If you agree with that a man is a protector and provider, and he should be protecting his house, go ahead, leave a comment. If you don't agree, go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know why you don't agree. I agree.
Thing now is these young men who look at Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers and they see somebody who's just quite frankly a douchebag and disrespects women, and because they've been so emasculated, they're like, oh great, that's a manly man. But that's not right either. So at some point, I think we'll go back to maybe meeting in the middle here. You can be a man who has feelings and emotions, but you can also go to war and protect and defend your family. I'm hoping we can get back there. But the two extremes right now, they're confusing men, and quite frankly, they're leaving women with few choices. And that's the real tragedy here.
You see, I completely agree with you, but Andrew, you were shaking your head quite vigorously. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues, for you to say things like, well, men, what I want is for men to protect me and I want men to make money. Well, that's great. What that ends up doing is it gives you a set of privilege in society. What do men get? What do men get for doing that for you?
Man, that Andrew, that was a good question. And that was a good question for this argument. What you got to say?
What are we getting from women for doing that? Are we getting chaste virgins on our wedding night? No, we're not getting chaste virgins on our wedding night. Are we getting women of great virtue? No, we're not getting women of great virtue. The idea of courtly love is supposed to be done for women of great virtue. Where are they? Well, they're nowhere. And so in modernity, in society,
Why is that important? They're like, why you have virtuous women who are virgins and stuff like that. A lot of women like to, shame men for wanting at least close to a virgin, and it matters. Why does it matter? It matters because we all know that a woman gets damaged. Each person that she slept with, and each one of the guys who has damaged her, we will have to deal with the end result of that. You know what I mean? We have to deal with the end results of the trauma that comes along with the thing that he put you through. You know what I mean? And it's not our fault. But unfortunately, now it comes with your new personality because the experiences you had as a woman. And sorry, under the weather a little bit. But yeah, nothing against you. We're not judging. Well, not saying we're not judging you as a woman, but at the same time, it always matters for each person that you add to your trauma. And then on the other hand, if you get desensitized towards each person that you sleep with, that's even worse. That's an uncontrollable behavior that you would not want to deal with, and it doesn't set up for success in a relationship for it to last in the long run. You know what I mean?
When conservative,
so that's why virtuality is important. Being a virgin and stuff, and having virtuous moralities is important because they're more equipped for a longer lasting relationship. You know what I'm saying? A woman with multiple trauma is gonna be a lot to deal with because of previous traumas that you have to overcome. That person still has to work through those, and we know that each person sometimes it takes years for a woman to get over a person that hurt her or put her through stuff. It's just okay. It's okay. It's just that's why it's important.
influencer, female conservative influencers say this. It's actually a form of covert feminism. They're saying, I want privilege in society, right? But what is it women are giving to men to get it? What are they giving them? Tell me.
Well,
Can I please chime in here?
Yes, you can. And then James can, and I'll come to you, Sean.
No, I would love to. I love this whole thing of like, if you're a female conservative and you don't believe that men should be douchebags, that all of a sudden you're a covert feminist. Call me a feminist. I really don't give one crap one way or another, but I can tell you this. A lot of these men, these podcast hosts on the right that like to think of themselves as these big masculine men, and what am I getting out of it? I can tell you this.
There's that feminism.
All right, I believe I'm a woman of virtue, right?
Out.
Yeah, there's the feminism. Oh, and then you're interrupting me too.
Didn't
which
take
is great.
long,
I let
did it?
you
Didn't
talk.
take
It's my
long,
turn.
did it?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak over me?
Yeah, I don't care if you call me. I don't really care if you call me a
strong,
feminist.
independent woman.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you when you were spewing your bullshit. So now it's my turn. Okay.
You mean the truth?
Like I said before. So I believe there we go again. Pierce, I'm a woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete, but is currently a professional baseball coach. So is he not a masculine man? I mean, I'm confused here. What's your concept of a masculine man? Mine is a man who respects me.
Yeah, that misses the point, though. Like, you're still not contending with the argument that I'm making.
What's your point?
You're saying inside of society, right this second, right, masculinity is not only punished, but also women on the right, covert feminists on the right, are constantly and consistently talking about how they need to have privilege in society. I want men. Their version of masculinity is men who take care of us, men who protect us, men who do all of this. Those are all duties that men have towards women. Great. What are the duties that women have towards men? What are the duties that women have towards anything? What do men get out of this arrangement?
Right.
What are we getting out of this arrangement? Can you tell me?
I mean,
Well,
as I was going to answer a second ago,
innately
should be
I don't want to
protectors
interrupt
and
you.
providers.
Hang on one second. Let Tommy
Most
respond.
men are born that
Let
way.
Tommy respond to that, and then I'll come to you, Jez. And then Sean,
most
you've
men
been
are-
waiting patiently. So
Most men are born to be protectors and providers.
Correct.
I can't imagine my dad saying, you know what, to my mom, you know what, I'm not going to be a protector and a provider unless you do this. That's not how real men operate. Real men are protectors and providers, and they marry women who hopefully
great.
have
A
some
woman telling
virtue,
us what
but
real
also
men
bring a
are
lot
again.
to the
Great.
table as well, that are great mothers, great wives, caretakers of the home. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional wife and mother, you're misunderstanding me if you think that I think that women should just be out doing whatever they want. I think that
I
there
love getting
are gender
lectured by
roles that
women
should
on
be
what real men
respected.
are. That's
but I
great.
don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you
So
need to
nothing.
get
Wow. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, you think that a man should not get anything out of it? I mean, I could understand a man should be a protector and he should be a provider and he should secure his home anytime she sees a bug. Even if she sees a bug, even if he's scared of the bug, he gotta face his fear. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's by any means necessary for the family, and I get that protective provider role for a man, and the man should do that, and it's in his nature to do that. And we're not giving no no pushback on on what the man responsibility is, but why would okay? What about you? What should you accept for your? Would you tell your son the same advice? He shouldn't expect anything from a woman. Should you not expect anything for yourself? I'm just curious. Like, that's all right. That's not built for success. What would happen if if a man does do that? He would get walked all over. He would get walked all over. And once over he does get walked all over, after he get walked all over, she gonna leave him with a man that doesn't take none of her stuff. You know what I mean? He'll leave him for a man who has boundaries, who would not let her walk all over him. A man who does have a backbone. Why? Because no one respects a man that you could walk all over and you're just there to serve a woman. What man do you know gets respect that serves women? What women? How many of you guys know a woman who gets respect for serving a man? Leave a comment down below.
something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Yeah, she have nothing. She have nothing.
But we'll
No women
discuss
have
in a
no
moment
duties,
whether
nothing.
Andrew
It's
Wilson
different.
is a real man.
Piers,
let's
I
go
offer nothing. I offer nothing.
You offer
didn't
me
offer a
a
single
lot of
argument.
things, Tommy.
No.
That's why I always love.
See, and this is the emotional response that, it's obviously she's the only woman on the channel, but she's coming from a place of emotions. You know, her response is from emotion. He asked a legit question. It's no problem with a man providing and protecting and doing whatever at any cost for his family, but you're saying that he shouldn't expect anything back from a woman? Is that like conducive advice to give to a man? Is that conducive advice to give to your child? Do you think that is even conducive for a relationship to last for a long term? Do you think that would be good advice to tell a man of any nature, your nephew, your son? It doesn't matter. Would you give him that advice? Well, that's fine. If you give him that advice, you just set yourself son up for failure and to get walked all over. Well, I can say a couple names right now, but I ain't trying to get in trouble. But yeah. How do y'all feel about that? Leave a comment down below.
Love having you on the show, you know that. Let's go to a real man, James Barr.
Thank you. I do see myself as a man, and I know that you'll be looking at me thinking, well, you're not, you're wearing makeup, you're wearing colourful clothes, like, look at me, I'm really camp, my nails are
I
painted.
mean, they are worrying
You know,
signs, I
you're
agree.
sat there smoking a cigarette. I'd love to get a vape out and start drinking a beer, pints with the lads, just connect with you over that. I think that you have some insane opinions on what women are meant to do for you. It's crazy that you don't appreciate that a woman actually gave birth to you. Like, she gave you a womb for 9 months and then looked.
I hate when they bring up stuff like that. When they just bring up stuff they were naturally meant to do, like, man, you were meant to give birth and you have a womb that's meant to, like, do all the things that's necessary. I ain't even trying to hear that. Do y'all think it's fair, man? I don't even care about the whole, what the man was talking about, him being attacked. Forget that, man. The woman. Y'all think it's fair that you saying that you should expect this and that from a man? You should have all the expectations from a man, which is fine, rightfully so. I would never send my daughter off to a man and have no expectations from him. You know what I mean? Heck no. But would I leave my son to have no expectations from a woman? Nah, I would not do that. Why would I allow him to get walked all over? All the stuff I would teach my son to bring to the table for a woman to benefit from. Why would I allow him to not get rewarded for the stuff that he's been taught? Huh? Nah, on some real stuff, man. Tell me what y'all think. Leave a comment down below. If y'all like the video, go ahead and subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.